Hello! There is a war on Cybertron. The Decepticons are mercilessly destroying the Autobots, and Optimus Prime makes the decision to retreat to Earth. He sends Private B-127, assigning him to build a base for his comrades to arrive and protect the planet from the enemies. However, he immediately gets into a skirmish with the Earthlings and the Decepticons who tracked him down, which cause him to lose his memory and voice module. The mission is at risk of failure when the girl Charlie finds him. Will they be able to complete the task of cosmic proportions together? On the planet Cybertron, hordes of Decepticons are using the full force of their weapons against the Autobots. They intend to destroy the planet's main fortress. So Transformers leader Optimus Prime orders the surviving Autobots to leave their home in escape pods in order to find other Transformers scattered throughout the Alpha Centauri galaxy and unite with them to survive and save Cybertron. Optimus chooses the planet Earth as a temporary refuge and instructs Private B-127 to go there, build a base for the Autobots to arrive, and protect the new camp from enemy Decepticons. Without delay, B-127 carries out his orders and departs for Earth, while his hometown of Cybertron crumbles under the merciless onslaught of the enemies. B-127's rescue pod crashes into the ground of a US Army training area, where a military unit led by Agent Jack Burns is stationed. He promptly calls for backup for the wounded soldiers, while trying to figure out where the shells that hit his fighters are coming from, when a representative of an unknown race appears behind the agent's back. Believing the alien is a threat, Agent Burns immediately orders all surviving units to disperse, hunt down, and capture the alien. Private B-127 tries to evade the pursuit. The Autobot makes an attempt to hide in a mine, but a military jeep blocks him with a powerful strike from the left. Once surrounded, B-127 tries to negotiate. Surprised, Agent Burns calls off the fire, only to see a new threat appear on the horizon. A hostile Decepticon arrives on Earth to extract information from the Private about his comrade's hideout location and destroy the Autobot. In the heat of battle, B-127 selflessly defends the secret of his race and intends not to utter a word, for which the enemy deprives him of his speech module.
Is that right? Then let's make it official.
And then intends to execute him. On the verge of death, the Autobot manages to turn the Decepticon's weapon against himself and make it out of the mess alive. But significant damage nevertheless causes a malfunction. The memory system fails, and the energy resource is nearly exhausted. On the verge of his system shutting down, B-127 escapes to safety, and having scanned the space around him, disguises himself in the human world. A teenage girl, Charlie, lives with her brother, his dog Conan, and her mother, who after the death of her father has met a new love, a man named Ron. Charlie is passionate about cars, but now she is forced to ride a moped, and for her upcoming 18th birthday, the girl begs her mother for a gift of $500 during breakfast to fix her father's Corvette, but receives a firm no. And in addition to that, an additional burden in the form of her younger brother Otis, who needs to be taken to karate training. With little support from her mother and unemployed stepfather, Charlie tries to make her own money. She works at a lemonade stand in an amusement park, but things don't go smoothly there either. An outlet for Charlie becomes her Uncle Hank's auto shop. She knows more about the craft than any other mechanic. Arriving there as usual, she gathers parts to fix the Corvette, and suddenly finds an old Volkswagen Beetle covered with a tarp. Intrigued, Charlie gets in, but the car won't start. But unknowingly, Charlie transmits a signal from B-127 to another Autobot, who at that moment is being executed by Decepticons. And now they are planning to go to the source of the radio signal, the planet Earth, in search of Optimus Prime. The next day, Charlie turns 18. Her mother gives her a colorful moped helmet, and her stepfather gives her a stupid book about smiling more often. Wanting to somehow make this awful morning better, she goes to Uncle Hank's auto shop to ask for the yellow Beetle as a present, and the good-natured old man lets her take it.
It's yours, kid. Happy birthday.
With a lot of effort, Charlie manages to start the car and drive it from the parking lot to the home garage, where something unexplainable happens. An unknown part falls out from under the Beetle. Trying to figure out what it is, Charlie examines the body with a flashlight, and to her surprise, sees something that resembles a human face. Its eyes suddenly light up blue, and the Beetle itself immediately transforms into a huge, silent robot. At first, frightened of the alien, Charlie later realizes that the robot is frightened too, and tries to make contact with him. The girl discovers that he understands her speech, but cannot speak himself. Since the robot only makes a cute buzzing sound, Charlie gives her new friend the name Bumblebee. Meanwhile, on the eastern part of the continent, a pair of Decepticons crash to the Earth at astronomical speed. After double-checking the coordinates of the signal of B-127, they embark on a search for him. The arrival of the aliens does not go unnoticed by the US military, and Agent Burns, who received the coordinates of the crash, assembles a task force in Texas.
If they make one wrong move, we put them down.
However, the cunning Decepticons are not going to attack. They intend to deceive them and use the US Air Force satellite system to track down B-127. The robots bow their heads to Agent Burns, posing as peacekeepers searching for a dangerous criminal. Burns instantly recognizes him as the alien who fell on his head during a training exercise and managed to escape. Unaware of the looming danger, B-127 is taking a walk with Charlie at this time. The robot cannot answer any of her endless questions, so the girl attempts to fix his speech module, but instead activates the memory system, and the Autobot's projector plays Optimus Prime's last message. Bumblebee recalls the events on the planet Cybertron, but there is still no information about why he has come to the planet Earth. One evening in the garage, trying to sort out B's defects, Charlie manages to fix his radio transmitter. The girl suggests that the robot listen to Earth music, turning on various cassettes she likes. The loud noises and the light from the robot's projector attract the attention of the boy next door, who tries to get to know Charlie, albeit unsuccessfully. The girl can't figure out the music preferences of her friend, who doesn't like her music at all. Bumblebee is interested in the other shelf, with the bright-colored records. Charlie tells him that these were left over from her father. They used to listen to this music when they worked together on the Corvette, until one day, Dad died of a heart attack. The thinking robot empathizes with his friend's feelings and tries to comfort the girl with a firm, friendly hug. The US National Defense Council discusses the Decepticons' proposal to combine the human satellite system with their radar to track down the alien criminal. Only Dr. Powell, who sees a limitless prospect in cooperating with the aliens, is in favor of cooperation, while Agent Burns argues that the situation will endanger Washington, New York, and Chicago. Ultimately, Dr. Powell succeeds in convincing the National Defense Council that the failure of the United States to cooperate would entail Decepticon cooperation with Russia, which would result in American defeat in the Cold War. Bumblebee, meanwhile, is trying to set up the transmitter as a voice control, alternating between radio stations and going over words, when the neighbor boy, Memo, who has mustered up his courage, enters Charlie's garage. To make the kid keep his mouth shut, Charlie has to drag him inside and calm him down. When Memo comes to his senses, the girl introduces him to her friend, and the next day the new group sets out on an adventure. The Decepticons easily integrate into Earth's technology system, including satellites, telephones, and computers, and create a unified global information network. Enthusiastic Dr. Powell tirelessly marvels at the technological revolution taking place, while General Wayland orders Agent Burns to wait until the matter is completed and then disassemble the alien parts, an order he gladly accepts. Charlie goes to work at the amusement park, leaving Bumblebee in the garage. The curious Autobot takes to exploring the dwelling, becoming interested in a new creature, the cowardly dog Conan, who escapes from him through the pet door. Bee is trying to examine the room through it, when suddenly his mask falls over his face. With its help, the Autobot easily identifies all objects around him and in the heat of curiosity, leans on the door, which breaks under his weight. Once in the living room, the clumsy robot first destroys all the furniture in its path, and then gets interested in electrical appliances. Unable to handle the coffee machine, he yanks it and discovers an electrical outlet, which he decides to plug into. A powerful electrical discharge runs through his body, and the voltage rises sharply in the network, the sudden jump of which is immediately recorded in the office of the US National Defense Council, and the capture team, led by Decepticons, is immediately sent to the specified coordinates. At this time, Memo, who has heard a loud noise in his friend's house, urgently calls the girl. Upon returning, Charlie discovers a horrible mess. Realizing that she is to blame for leaving the Autobot alone, Charlie asks Memo to take the robot to the garage while she contemplates on how to survive the impending argument with her mother, who soon shows up home with Oscar. Charlie tries to flee the scene, but this time the quarrel cannot be avoided. The woman scolds her daughter for always making their lives difficult with her behavior and her always sour face, while the other members of the family do their best to be happy together. Under such pressure, Charlie reveals her mother how she's been feeling since the loss of her father.
You found a replacement for my dad and I haven't, okay, and I never will.
Threatening that she will never see her in this house again in just 10 months once she graduates. The girl runs away, slamming the door loudly behind her. On the road, Charlie confesses to Memo and tells him that since her father's death, she feels like an unnecessary burden on the family. which really makes her life difficult. The boy manages to cheer her up and takes some comfort in a phrase his mother shared with him. The darkest nights produce the brightest stars. During the couple's pleasant conversation, an armed group led by Agent Burns suddenly appears in their path. Bumblebee immediately transforms into an Autobot and escapes, taking Charlie with him to protect his friend from danger. But after rolling down a dangerous cliff, the couple are ambushed by Decepticons, who immediately engage in a fight. Bumblebee's battle mask falls over his eyes again, but the Autobot does not defend himself, as his enemies try to beat the intel about Optimus Prime's whereabouts out of him. The defeated Bumblebee is electrocuted by Agent Burns' group, and while trying to save her friend, Charlie also receives an electric shock. The girl wakes up in her room, while Agent Burns is having a corrective conversation with her mother and stepfather. He says that the girl has stolen government property, and Charlie has nothing to counter his arguments. Abandoning his pointless struggle, Charlie is about to embark on a real fight to save Bumblebee, and under the cover of her younger brother Austin and in Memo's company, sets out on a dangerous mission. After infiltrating Epi US military base, Charlie sees the Decepticons torturing B-127, yet they still can't get information out of him because the Autobot's memory cells are burned out. However, the enemies do manage to extract Optimus Prime's last message, in which he says that the Autobots are going to Earth. The Decepticons decide to confront them here and destroy the Cybertronians along with the planet Earth. Dr. Powell manages to relay the message of danger to Agent Burns before the hostile aliens kill him, and B-127 receives the next fatal blow. Charlie rushes to Bumblebee in tears, but the Autobot is completely de-energized. The girl tries to resuscitate him with an electric shotgun blast, and when it seems that all her attempts are in vain, a vivid blue light flashes in B's eyes. The battle mask falls over his eyes again, and the monitor shows his memory data loading. Meanwhile, Agent Burns' battalion is on its way to the base and blasts out the entrance gate with a powerful explosion. Burns has arrived to destroy the Decepticons, and upon discovering B-127, intends to take him out as well. The Autobot is restrained with metal cables that will tear him apart and shows no resistance, until he notices that Charlie is in danger in Burns' hands. Yet another emotional outburst finally brings Bumblebee's memories back, and he switches to combat mode, the peaceful blue light of his eyes changing to a menacing red. B-127 blasts the enemy base with powerful flamethrower attacks, and Burns' battalion is forced to retreat. Charlie manages to stop the rampaging Autobot, but the girl sees through the flames that Burns is approaching and urges B to leave. Along with B-127's memory, the voice module is working again.
If the Decepticons find Earth, then our people are truly finished.
Because of this, Bumblebee is going to continue the battle, and Charlie sets off with him. The pair arrive at the satellite tower, which the Decepticons are going to use to broadcast a message to their army. Leaving his friend safe, B-127 rushes in and engages in an open battle with his enemies. In the midst of the battle, Charlie decides to help her friend and climbs the tower to remove the Decepticons' transmitter. But one of them is already there, downloading and transmitting data. Luckily for the girl, he is knocked off the tower by Bumblebee, who has already dealt with one of the enemies and saved Agent Burns from a helicopter crash. Charlie successfully cuts off the signal and immediately jumps into the water to rescue her friend, who found himself on the seafloor during the fight with the second adversary. They manage to get out of the water together, and Agent Burns, grateful for saving his life, allows the friends to escape before the military arrives. Charlie says goodbye to Bumblebee. Each of them must now be reunited with their families.
Goodbye, Bumblebee.
And after transforming into a Chevrolet Camaro, the Autobot sets out on the road. As always, the name of the movie can be found in the video description. Meanwhile, let us know in the comments, do you think robots will ever be able to have emotions and feelings? And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next awesome retelling.